That's not even showing up in those volumes that I gave you guys.
Right.
So we will have a good amount of storage there. Going deeper, yeah, I mean, you could carve it out.
It's feasibility.
Yeah, I think it becomes a construction and feasibility and cost issue at the end of the day.
You understand our concern about the flow-through effect and the washout downhill. I mean, the volume of water we're talking about, and effectively, once you've filled up your retention capacity, it's pure flow-through. And because we said that there's effectively zero absorption.
Right.
So we fill the pond up, and then anything that comes in after that is just through the gravel and out the backside for the erosion that we have now.
Right. So if I saw huge rates of runoff coming out of this stone, I would be concerned. But seeing them pretty much on par with where they are today, I'm not concerned, because now you have that rate hitting a completely non-armored slope. It's just grass and soil. Instead of that, now it's going through a 6-inch stone kind of armored area.
But what's coming out the backside is the same volume that's going in on the front side.
Right.
And now we've taken that entire slope and I think it's a good thing, we just need to figure out how to control the flow. We've taken everything along that, 120-foot slope, and we've focused it down into a 30-foot area. So we've quadrupled the flow through in this one spot.
Right.
So that's gonna be an issue.
You're also slowing it through we're talking, it's a width of 20 feet that's now coming out through riprap stone. I mean, one solution might be what you mentioned, of getting grass along the back there, getting
something
a
like
good
that.
planting. I think that's
Shrubs.
Right.
I think grass alone is not gonna do it.
Right, but something to our concern is stabilizing the soil,
Sure.
the slope.
Yeah, I think between a good geotextile in there and some plantings and grass, that would be even more of an improvement.
I would like to see the plan for the back slope. I don't know if you would. I'm not trying to delay you. Do you have a construction schedule in place now? Scheduled for when?
Hoping to start, we've just finalized the contractor, and we were hoping to finish it by the end of October.
We don't meet until the 13th. And we don't have any site walks? We do.
We had a sidewalk planned this weekend.
We could have a sidewalk on Saturday.
Yeah.
I can't make it on Saturday.
What can I?
No?
Go
I
outside,
could get
make
up
it-
there at another time, but not on Saturday.
I
I'm
might
wondering
get up there another
about,
time as well.
Is the only change the plantings?
Yeah.
Because then it could be contingent on you. You could send me the plans and we can
They can
vote.
go ahead with the pavement and we'll follow up with the
And
downhill.
it can be contingent on an approved plan by the commission. You could issue the order with a contingent that the plan has to be approved.
We could do that. We could do that, because we're meeting on the 13th, and I know you won't be done by then. So you're talking about the end of October completion? So we meet on the 13th, so can you get us a plan that fast?
By the 13th?
Yes.
Sure.
All right, well, we'd like it before the 13th.
Yeah.
But
just
what's
let me
our
know
filing
when you-
date prior to the public hearing?
Okay.
Let me check. I believe it's-
Sequentially, is the intent to do all of the paving and the curbing before you do the plunge pool? Or would you excavate the plunge pool at the same time? I'm just wondering, what is the plunge pool and the planting that we're talking about, is that an end product, or is that something that is more at the front end?
We'd probably like to see something done here. Maybe it won't be the completed plunge pool, but once we put all this curb in, we're going to be directing more water to this spot. So I would, just shooting from the hip, I would probably want to see something there
Sooner than later? Yeah.
sooner than later, by the time this is all constructed.
Okay.
can I ask a question? Any reason why the plunge pool wasn't pulled in more to the curb line and extended further out in, I guess, what would be a southerly direction?
Back this way?
No,
No,
Easter,
E-
east.
that
yeah,
way.
that's it. And that would, is there anything obstructing doing that? Because that would give you
More width.
less push on the backside
Right.
and greater volume capacity, along with the possibility of improved absorption into the earth. If I remember how that land is gradated, because as you move further, in whether it's in southeasterly direction, the slope is less articulated.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything back in here that would completely stop us from extending this out. Going this way, obviously, we'd be limiting the access, but
Yeah,
Then you take it off,
due east.
right, and then go
Yeah.
this way.
That's due east, yeah.
Do we st- Yeah, there's no, I'm sorry, there's not there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No.
Well, what are you suggesting, that they make it wider?
Well, I'm asking the question, listening to the conversation, question about the capacity of the pool to begin with, concern about the backside. If we have this opportunity to move in another direction, you could have a larger pool, a better rate of absorption possibly, and less stress on the backside, along with more protection of the wetland.
Would that work?
See, moving this way.
No, I understand, but if the water's coming in from that point right there,
Yeah.
how far is it going to, will it go?
It's set by the height of the berm. So if the berm on the downhill side is level, that's a level spreader. Basically, you're feeding it anywhere along the length of it, it's gonna fill up and should theoretically flow consistently off the entire thing. So the longer you make it, the wider you've spread it out. That's like it,
Yeah, and the elevation of the
Gunhill.
back then is more
Level
consistent
spreaders.
with the elevation of the parking lot too. It's closer
Hmm.
than a foot and a half, 2 feet difference.
so anything we do back here, the only question is where do you stop? Because anything going this way, we're just disturbing more area within the buffer zone.
Got it, but if
So-
they do that, I mean, these plans don't have, it's one thing to say we can approve a planting plan to hold the back slope and make that a condition. But if we're increasing the size of this, I think we'd have to see additional
Different
plans.
plans, I agree.
Which may be, you may be right, but it will cut into their construction plan if we hold it off until the 13th of October.
well, that, where I was going with my comment about the sequencing was whether we could give them approval to proceed with the paving and the curbing and resolve the issues with the plunge pool and the slope. But based on what was said, they would want to at least rough out the plunge pool as part of the excavation for the,
Yeah, and on the construction side, what are you doing to prevent erosion and sedimentation during the construction?
Bales.
That's going to be, that's a steep slope there, and we always say, oh yeah, we'll put hay bales up, but that's, you've got, how long is the construction going to take? You're talking about a couple of
It can't
weeks?
take more than a month. We got to be done by the end of October. So once we start, maybe a month, 5, 6 weeks at most.
That's a long time to have that open with that kind of a slope. And we are pushing back towards the wetlands there. That area is
So
okay.
It will have silt fence and
you know,
typical erosion protection along there.
John?
Oh, yeah, I know, but I'm just thinking if that's open for 5 or 6 weeks, and we're gonna get some storms in there, that's quite a slope. Maybe we need like a double row
So
of...
I see what you're saying, yeah.
when I say 5 or 6 weeks, I'm also talking getting this whole thing
It's
done.
moving, yeah,
So
no,
for
I
them to
understand.
get these spots and this curb in, that might be 2 days for them to pave that. So,
I understand, but we might just, to the extent that the project is gonna be open, we're talking about expanding the excavation of the plunge pool, we may wanna double up on your hay bales and silt fence.
sure.
Because that's a significant drop. I mean, it's not 40 feet, but it's
Right.
20 feet. It's
yeah,
it's going down.
Yeah, yeah.
So how about that? Is that something you can live with, doubling up on that? And how do you want to address Arthur's comment that, if you went a little bit eastward, you could increase the capacity of the plunge pool?
I guess how much capacity do we want to add?
Well, you're
Because
talking
I
about 400 feet versus 8,400 feet. Right?
Right.
The holding capacity is about 400 cubic feet.
Right. I mean, if you wanted to hold an entire storm from all the pavement that currently drains to this area,
No, it'd be monster.
You'd
We're
be
not
building
talking
a-
about that, right.
so I have this now that the calculations are showing is going to work versus a pond to collect everything. I've just got to find that spot in the middle.
Yeah, and it's
And I don't
probably
know
not,
exactly
it's not
where to
the
put
middle,
that.
it's closer to your end than it is to, full holding capacity. That would be like the
So I'm just
Superdome.
trying to think of it in terms of a condition. What would it be?
The problem is that you have a capacity of, let's say, 400, and you have no absorption, and once you hit that capacity, it's pure flow-through. So you have the capacity to handle small events, but if it rains and you actually get 8,500, you're actually only catching 400, and you have 8,100 that's flowing through on the downhill slope, the 15 or 20-foot downhill slope that we're talking about. So I don't know if there's a way to improve the absorption. I mean, I don't know how you do that. And increasing the capacity just delays, I mean, it gives us you can handle a larger storm before you get the full flow through.
Right.
So it would help in terms of minimizing the occurrences of flow through. But the 8,500 is a big number when we're only talking about 400. So even if you double the size of that, you're up to 800, and you're still talking about 8,500. And then you're into flow through again. So anything you could do to improve that would be beneficial, and it would minimize the occurrence of the full flow through. And then in addition to that, any planting we do on the downhill slope to minimize erosion.
And I'm not
is-
convinced that even a lot of planting on the downhill slope, that type of flow-through is going to eliminate erosion, serious erosion. It's just going to delay it.
Yeah.
Well,
As
I was
sorry.
not on that site walk. How much, light exposure? So it's north facing, right? I mean, is it?
It is north facing, and you walk through, there's a line of trees right beyond the top, the slope, the edge of the pavement, there's a line of trees. Once you get to the bottom of the slope, it opens up a little bit, and the trees are further apart, is my recollection.
I'm just thinking about what you could effectively plant there that will take and establish to effectively.
We'll take some of the invasives from
Yeah.
the hill lots.
So-
That'll hold us.
Yeah.
They'd be happy to give them to us.
Yeah. So is there any way to improve the absorption? Because if the problem, as I see it, is that the holding capacity is gonna fill up, and then we have a pond,
Right.
and if
It's
we
overflowing.
and it's overflowing, if we had any way to
Eroding.
improve the holding, to improve the absorption,
Percolation, right.
then we would actually, a normal storm, we'd actually have absorption at that point, so the 400 now becomes 600 or 800 or 1,000 or more, the greater we can improve the absorption. That's why I was thinking, do we go deep?
Deeper.
And does that give us-
Sand or something?
Yeah, do we
or-
go deeper and find out that we're into something else that allows that absorption to happen?
What do you hit? You do just hit clay, or, I mean, do you just hit?
It's showing D-soils, so like a tight kind of till. I mean, honestly, I think the
If you
deeper you go, you're
deeper
gonna get.
and put more sand and gravel, maybe you are able to improve the.
But
absorption.
until we can get to a point where we have better absorption, we're only creating capacity
Right, right.
to the point of flow through.
Yeah. And that's why I was.
Anything,
Part of why I was looking toward the east, because you get, I think if I'm looking at that correctly, the greater opportunity for more absorption in an easterly direction.
Why don't we do this?
You're getting-
It looks like, we're just talking concepts here. Could you come up with a plan for us, either by going deeper or wider or a combination of those, and double the capacity from 400 to 800, and come back to us with like a planting plan on the backside that will hold the slope? I would be more comfortable than approving what's shown there, because I call it a waterfall, and I know it's a 24-hour time, so it's not literally that, but it seems like there are going to be some anticipatable, foreseeable storms that are going to create a lot of erosion, and it is better with your plan, but if we could maximize the benefit and still make it feasible, I'd feel more comfortable. Do you think you could come up with a plan to get it? However, use your own imagination, engineering imagination, and just get it from 400 to 800 and give us a planning plan.
Sure.
Would you feel more comfortable with that? I'm not sure that's something that we can vote on tonight and say contingent upon that. I actually think that's going to require getting better plans, but I don't mind having an extra meeting. I don't want to slow you down, and there may be a way that we can do both. We can get a better plan and not slow you down.
Okay.
It's okay by me.
Can I make just one other idea? Because we know we're gonna get flow through, what if we take riprap, give ourselves a swale, put riprap in it, run it to the bottom of the slope? The backside of that, we know it's gonna flow through, we know it's gonna go. What if we give it a path that won't erode?
So rip wrap the backside of the slope.
Rip-rap the backslide all the way from the plunge pool to the bottom of the slope.
I
How do you
think in
keep
that-
the oil and the crud
Yeah,
that's
there's no,
coming
Oh,
off
right,
of
right,
the...
so we have no
off of the-
filtration.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
right, and it's coming out
It's
the
all
parking
going
lot.
straight, it's about a beeline to the wetland
Okay,
now.
forget that. I'm just trying, okay, I'm throwing out ideas. Okay, sorry.
No, it's fine. We'd then be doing work
It's a good idea
Right
if
up to
you
the
could,
edge of the
find
wetland.
some way to,
within the
Hold back.
25-foot buffer. And
Oh, for sure, and that would, you mean the riprap
Yeah.
all the way down? Oh, I agree with that, and it wouldn't do anything to the contaminants, so let's go back to Plan A.
Yeah.
Can we meet, how fast could you do something like that, to come up with an 800 cubic foot capacity, to slow it down that much, and then give us a planning plan? Because how about a week from Saturday? And we could do a site walk, and that's a public meeting, so we can vote on the site.
I'm still not here. Well, Judith might be back. I have got to be out of town on
A
the
week
20th,
from
the
Saturday.
26th, yeah.
The 19th to 26th.
Could we meet?
After
in the
that,
af-
I'm good.
Could we meet during the week for a site walk? It's only the one
Yeah.
site.
It's good for me.
I think so.
This week, I'm gone 22nd to the 28th.
When you say that, what do you mean? First thing in the morning, 7?
Yeah, I'd rather do it in the morning.
If we're gonna do it during the week, like 7 o'clock? Is
On
that-
what day?
That-
7:30?
This-
No. And bring your own coffee.
Well, let's go back. Let's say we do it during the week in the morning. How much time do you need to calculate or recalculate the capacity?
for a plan to double the capacity and show some plantings. It's today, Tuesday. A week from today, I could have that to you.
Okay. So if we had it in advance, and that's a week from today is, that's the 22nd. So we could do Thursday, the 20,
Fourth?
at 7:30?
Okay.
Is that, we haven't even asked for a butters comments yet, so this is still concept.
That's enough notification time, Susan? The public hearing, should-
Yes, yes.
Right.
So
We just have
we
to.
would try Thursday.
So I'm gone. You guys need to make sure that Judith can do it. I'm gone the 22nd of September to the 28th. Is that right? The 22nd? Yeah, I fly out on the 22nd. I'll come back the evening of the 28th.
Then why don't we just do it on Saturday?
The 29th,
But now we're
20.
back into,
which Saturday?
Not this Saturday, but the following Saturday.
she won't be here, that's the
Well,
26th.
I won't-
she's not gonna be here for the
Yeah.
other one
Oh,
anyways,
yeah.
so.
I thought
agree.
after.
You can't make it either.
Would any earlier days next week work? I mean, I could,
Rush it.
if I had to scramble, I could, if Monday or Tuesday next week worked for you guys, I could get it to you sooner. I could get it to you by the end of this week.
I
Okay.
could do Monday. I'm almost positive I could do Monday.
That's the 21st.
Right.
Like 7 a.m. on Tuesday.
What time, when do you leave, the 22nd?
The 22nd at 7
All right.
a.m. So I'm getting up early one day. Why not get up early the
Just
next day?
consider it practice.
Oh, you know what, I'm not going to be here Monday, the 21st.
Okay.
I'll be back Monday night. I'm gone Sunday.
So tentatively say it's the following Saturday, the 26th, right? And
I'm
confirm that
still
with
going.
Judith.
Yeah, if Judith can make it, you guys
Well,
are
if
good.
Judith can make the 22nd, do you want to do it then, that Tuesday?
Yeah,
And during the
I'm open
morning?
to any of that.
Yep, I could do either one. Can you make, as long as we've got enough time for notice of the public meeting?
Yeah, I can post it tomorrow.
Yeah, but we don't know which one it is, because if Judith can't make it, we won't have a quorum.
Can we call Judith tonight?
No, we only need 48 hours to post a public meeting.
Okay. So it's either the 22nd or the following Saturday? You want to do the following Saturday, the 26th? What is it?
The
Yeah, it's the
26th.
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 Saturday's the 26th.
At 8 a.m.
At 8 a.m. All right. Let's try for that. But now, before we lock that in, we haven't even asked for comments or questions from abutters or members of the public. Anybody would like to ask questions? Hearing none. Do you have a question?
Question?
Is this going to be postponed until next week, a decision?
Yes, we need additional plans. Because I don't think the consent, I'm just kind of guessing at this, but there's no consensus that these plans are sufficient to prevent an unrestrained runoff into the wetlands.
Okay. Because everything that we're talking about pertains to the retention, the plunge pool, and the downhill slope, can we pull the trigger for them to go ahead with the paving?
I don't think so, based on what you said, Matt, because I thought that once they start the excavation, they're going to dig down and repack the surface, and at the same time they're doing the excavation, they're going to do the plunge pool excavation. So it sounds like one
One excavation.
excavation. And I think that you can still make your construction plan. We're still meeting if September 26th, and we can take care of it on that date. Be ready to go.
Sorry, the 26th?
Saturday, the 26th?
Buys you more time to do a
Well,
great
either
plan.
the 22nd or the 26th.
I need it.
Is that okay? I know you can't make it, you know, we'll think of something. We'll get Judith, we'll kidnap her or something. Get her out there, all right? All right? Any other comments? Are you okay with that?
I'm not sure what I'm okay with.
Okay. Well, what we're doing is we're asking for it. Could you identify yourself for the record?
Yes, I'm in a butter, I live on Holmes Lane, and I've been in a butter for 40 years. And I do have some information that might be constructive.
Well,
A
come
little-
forward,
I'm a
please.
little horrified as I listen to this discussion about the water issue.
Come forward, because the tape recorder needs to hear you.
Because I know that after Winter Valley was constructed, the properties on Holmes Lane had substantial water issues.
Can you use the microphone, please? And actually identify yourself, please?
Okay. My name is Susan Flukes, and I'm in a butter. I live on Holmes Lane, and I've lived there for 40 years. And after Winter Valley during the construction of Winter Valley, the properties on Holmes Lane virtually became a sponge pool. We all had to install sump pumps, and I even had to install a French drain because of the difference in drainage that was created from what was done on that property. So that I find this discussion about the water issue extremely interesting and a little horrifying when I know what my experience and my neighbors' experiences have been when you start diverting water from an adjacent property. So
But you're on the other side. This water is
Oh,
going
I-
away
I-
from you.
I understand that,
Okay.
but there are properties on all sides of this, and it doesn't seem to be clear. In other words, I would be really, we had hydraulic studies at that time, and still we had water problems. So it is an issue. The other issue that concerns me is when I listen to all the talk about the debris and the dumping that was done, we live on the other side, I know, and there is dumping on the other side against the fence with the property that abuts Winter Valley. And whenever I have called about trees that are hanging over and other debris, there is absolutely no response. I have had to pay, and my neighbors have had to pay, a considerable amount of money to have debris and trees and limbs that are hanging over onto our property from Winter Valley removed, because there is not a lot of cooperation from Winter Valley in doing what they agreed to do when that was initially constructed. So those are two issues that are of concern to me. And the third question I have for you is, are you aware that there is a grant of perpetual conservation restriction that was given by Winter Valley to the town and supposed to be administered by the Conservation Commission about that property, which severely restricts what they can do on that property with respect to conservation? Are you
Well,
aware
we-
of that?
To be honest with you, I was not, but we have jurisdiction anyway. So whether or not it was a conservation restriction in our favor, which does not have to be a resource area, anybody can give uplands to us. But because we're in a wetland area or a resource area, we have our jurisdiction dependent upon that.
Right, but it pretty much restricts them from doing, I think, some of the things I'm hearing here.
Well, this is an improvement because the parking lot is not expanding. They're just repairing it. And at the same
But
time
they
that
are
they're
also
repairing.
adding parking spaces,
They are.
which they are not allowed to do, according to this conservation restriction that they granted to the town through the Conservation Commission and to all the abutters. So I'm kind of horrified to hear this. The last time they expanded parking, we weren't notified because there wasn't this wetlands issue. But now there is, and so I'm just concerned about that. And why that restriction that they granted in the 80s seems to be being ignored.
Fair question?
And I would just ask that you try and get a copy of that agreement and see if it comports.
Sure, and that's a
With
fair
what's-
request as well.
Do you have a copy?
I don't with me, no.
No, do you have one that's available to you?
I can look, yes.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Can you give your information to Kathy so that we can try to get a copy?
Pull a
if
copy
we-
of it.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right, yeah, those are good comments. Is there a response from Winter Valley?
We have worked with Mrs. Fuchs over the years, removing debris, broken trees. Our landscaper, we've planted trees. We've done the best we could, and I haven't heard from her in a few years now. So I didn't know that she has some complaints. As
I
far
welcome you
as,
to look at the back of my property between me and Winter Valley. You will see
Okay.
a mess.
All right, but let her finish, okay? We need to have every person have a full opportunity to speak.
I also don't know anything about the conservation plan, so, as far as I know, we know nothing about it as far as the staff that's there now as to what took place in 1980. So I don't know.
What is the number of additional parking spaces overall?
Four.
4 here.
Four.
Increase, you mean?
Yes, the increase, that's what I was talking about. But the footprint, is the outside footprint, is that changing?
The outside footprint, no. these are inner,
If you could point those out?
these spaces here are being added. It's about 650 square feet of
They're,
pavement.
they're on the grass.
No, I understand that. That was in response to a question, because it's an area that's already developed. They're not expanding into land that has not, that they haven't been in before. They're already there. But I'd be very interested in reading the terms and conditions of the conservation grant. I think that's a fair point. We'll make it up with Kathy, if you could see if you could run that to ground. Bill Clark may be able to
Okay.
help you find that.
I know back in, when they built Building 5, back in 1990, I think they agreed not to do any more building for another 25 years, or I believe, but that's the only thing I had ever heard.
Okay. All right, thank you. So, any other comments, questions from the commissioners? We've actually spent a long time on this
Sorry.
more than I expected.
Yeah.
Could you just tell me when the next meeting is?
Yeah, I will. Because when we were talking about a site walk on Saturday morning at 8 a.m., September 26th, that's a public meeting, and we'll be able to have full discussion. We'll have a portable tape recorder, so we'll have a record, and we'll be able to take a vote at that time. All right, and I don't know, Matt, how soon you can get us the materials, the enhanced capacity of the plunge pool and the plantings on the backside. That would be very helpful to us.
Yeah, I'll get it to you as soon as I can, hopefully within the next few days.
Oh, great, that'd be good.
The 22nd was the alternate time. Did that get rejected? I mean, the 22nd was,
Yeah, that's right. No, that's right.
we might be meeting on the morning of the 22nd, depending upon the availability of one of the commissioner members.
You mean that's when the public meeting would be?
We're not sure if it's on the 26th at 8 o'clock or on the 22nd at 7:30, depending on her availability.
But you'll send a notice?
Kathy,
I can make a phone call, but there won't be like a notice like on butters, just to the butters. Once the initial notice goes out, then
I know
it's,
some of the abutters haven't gotten notices at all. I don't know why.
Well, you don't get a notice after the first notice, but I think, didn't we collect all the green cards
I
on
did
this one?
tonight. They're in the folder.
So the green cards are here. Those are the return receipt requests. Those all came back. But it only gives notice of the first meeting, and then you have to kind of follow along, because many of these hearings get continued from month to month. So if you're not following it, if you don't show up at one meeting, you have to watch the public notification. But it's on the website, themiltontown.org, and that'll tell you when it is. So it'll either be the 22nd or the 26th. But if you could stay in touch with Kathy at the DPW office, she'll tell you.
Okay,
And
Right.
I should know by Thursday. I should know by Thursday.
okay, Kathy.
I'll
Oh, that's
touch
great.
with Judith.
All right, thank you. So with, oh, no, there's something else, and you need to know whether or not, the applicant has made a request to reduce the fee because it's a nonprofit. And I indicated to her that in the past, we have done that on occasion, not every time,
Right.
because we have a lot of not-for-profits. And I know it gets into the whole pilot program, payment in lieu of taxes, for some of the schools. But we just did that recently because the Eustis Estate had asked for a reduction. They have 90 acres, and it's done, the fee structure is done on the basis of acreage. So they came in with a, what, $9,400 fee, and they asked for mercy. So we actually considered, we had a discussion, and we did reduce it. And what I've got in my hand is the conservation filing fee. It's a schedule it's published. It's also part of the town website. But for notice of intent, if you're less than 2 acres, it's a $200 filing fee. If it's 2 or more acres, but not more than 10, it's $200 plus $100 for each acre over 2. And if you're 10 or more acres, it's $1,000 plus $100 for each acre over 10. So I guess, how did you calculate yours? You came in at about 2,500?
Yeah, I think it was 2490 something.
Yeah, I have the check here, she just submitted.
Okay.
We did pay it, and Kathy held it, but we were just I mean, we're talking about a small area, we're not talking about the property as a whole.
Right.
And so the area that is concerning the wetlands or the conservation committee is a small area, and we were hoping that you could, we are a nonprofit where our monies are paid by HUD on the most part, so we're just wondering if you could give us the consideration and drop the fee. We're, like I said, we will, we are going to look into a, I don't know what you call them, to contain the dumpsters so that we won't have the problem continuing. And, you know, that excess money that we're paying could help offset that charge.
Understood. So translating the 2,400 into acreage, what's the acreage?
25 total.
25 total acres. So if we, I'm amenable to giving some consideration. We can't be too cavalier because the monies don't go to us, they go to the town. And I am very sympathetic to Winter Valley. Not so much HUD, you know? Not as much.
But I mean, it's Winter Valley, and we do pay taxes, and
So and we talked about this earlier here. Does anybody have a suggestion as to how to formulate something? Because we have to be careful about setting a precedent that is inconsistent with other actions that we've taken. And I'm thinking of the Eustis Estate as being a good example. I think there was an appropriate reduction from 9,000 to 2,000. And maybe there's something in here we could, if it were 10 acres, it would be $1,000. Does anybody have a sense of how we can drop it, or should we drop it from the 2,500 that they paid to something less than that? Cut it in half or something of that nature? Because that would be, if we went to the 10 acre, it would be $1,000. And this area is probably an acre, so maybe 1,100 or something of that nature. I'm just
Sure.
making this up as I'm going along. But we want to be somewhat uniform with what we did with the Eustis Estate. Any thoughts on how to come up with a figure that's fair and reasonable?
We had a little discussion.
Right, and the question became, you know, if there was a large entity or for-profit entity in the wings, if there was an option, then they would not be entitled to some sort of reduction. So I don't know how does this situation compare?
You're 100% nonprofit.
Is that the case? So that would not
Wouldn't
affect
come into
this
play.
particular, but I still think in the future we probably ought to address that
Right.
eventuality.
Address what? That if,
In other words,
Fee
if,
structure.
yeah, if it's nonprofit, but there is a for-profit arm or a for-profit entity
Developer, yeah.
has, yeah, a developer has an option or has some interest in it, then that property would not qualify for a
Reduction.
reduction.
that's true.
Michael was concerned about a
Loopholes.
for-profit taking advantage of the ability to get a lower rate under a not-for-profit.
So I agree that giving them a reduction, it's really just coming up with what do you think the basis is, and what you just said about 10 acres, $1,000 plus 100, plus the extra 100. I feel like that seems appropriate.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
All right. Any comments from the public, abutters or otherwise? Motion for $1,100? Second?
Second?
In favor? All right. You just went from 2,500 to 1,100. Okay, all right, good, thanks. I don't want to steal that from Kathy.
Yeah.
All right, so with the assent, which I believe we have the assent of the applicant, we will continue this until either Tuesday morning, September 22nd at 7:30 a.m., and we'll meet right at the parking lot, or Saturday, September 26th at 8 a.m., meet at the same place. And that'll be posted on the town website, and for Ms. Fuchs, you can talk to Kathy, and you'll get special notice. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
In terms of that plan, is that specific doubling of the capacity and adding the wetland planting? That's the,
Or whatever is good to hold the downside slope. And it might be, you might need a geotech, netting, something. I don't know what's going to hold it.
And then doubling up the hay bales. The concern about the erosion during period of construction.
All right, thanks, Matt.
thank you.
Next on the agenda, abbreviated notice of intent, 41 Pleasant Street. Paul, is that you?
Good evening, my name is Paul Felder. I'm here on behalf of Celebrate Realty LLC regarding a abbreviated notice of intent that was filed regarding an proposed easement that intersects the outer rim of the 100-foot no disturb for the vernal pool. It's up off of, in the back of 41 Pleasant Street. And just to go back to the history of the utility easement that we're proposing, we had a meeting with John Thompson, the town engineer, and Joe Lynch, the DPW director. And Mr. Lynch requested that we consider an easement, utility easement, and bring the water main out to the edge of the town property where the proposed animal shelter's going to be built, I guess, which is out here in this corner right here. And he also requested that we add a hydrant out here as well, which the applicant has agreed to. So this is the end of a cul-de-sac. It's a 8-lot cul-de-sac that runs out to Pleasant Street. It involves two properties, 31 Pleasant Street and 33 Pleasant Street and 41 Pleasant Street. It's a definitive plan was filed today for the subdivision with the planning board. And so we are here to discuss with the commission the idea of having a 15-foot wide utility easement through the outer rim of the 100-foot no disturb. The 100-foot area has been all staked out, and the easement has been staked out. So if you walk the site, you can see clearly where it is. There's about 3 trees on the outer perimeter of it, one on the front portion near the cul-de-sac, and then there's 2 on the outer rim out here that may or may not have to come down. I don't believe these trees are in the best of shape, or I'm not sure what the species are.
How big?
I think it might say on the plan, I'm not sure, but those are smaller trees. The one closest to the cul-de-sac was the largest of the 3. And looks like it says this one's 8-inch diameter, and this one is 15-inch. I can't read the size of the one that's there. There's some markings over it. It also shows the silt fence and hay bales that would be installed at the perimeter of the 100-foot no disturb, and then inside where the utility easement would go as well, which would be temporary. We're considering proposing a split rail fence to be at the 100-foot circle. We'd seen one that was placed up on Woodland Road. I believe there was a house that was recently built up there and had, I think it was a 2-acre lot and had several vernal pools on the property, I believe.
That first one in on the right?
Yes. Yeah, it's just before the Stonebridge access to where the new homes were built a few years ago. And it just became occupied, I think, the new home. So we wanted to get some feedback from the commission on their thoughts of this, and also what might be appropriate to mark the 100-foot buffer where it's on this property.
Is this a sidewalk issue? Anybody interested in the sidewalk part? That's a question, I'm not pushing it. It's a real question. You care?
I think it is, but
Yeah, I'd like to walk it. I mean, I can't do it in the next 2 weekends, but
Yeah, I mean, it,
concerned about vernal pools and it'd be nice to take a look.
one of the problems, and I apologize, because I should have had it here with me tonight, but I don't have the bylaw. Because we have a provision in the 25-foot non-disturbance for an override of that. But the vernal pool is separate. It's a separate section. And I don't know what it says.
I believe it says you have the authority to reduce that 100-foot. The
Does,
commission does, yes.
yeah, I assumed that it did, but I just don't have the verbiage in front of me.
Yeah, it does specifically say that.
Because, yeah, I think the point is that you'd have to find that there's no significant adverse impact.
Sure,
And you're burying a pipe and then you're going to replant it.
yes.
So I don't think it's going to be much
yeah,
of a...
I'm not opposed to the proposal, but I think we should do a sidewalk.
I do too, because I don't know whether or not there's any way around, like if there's some, champion tree in the way. And I know you just said 8, 15-inch caliper, but I would like to eyeball it to see if there is, some better alternative.
Yeah, one thing that seems to have happened, and I think you'll see it when you get out there, because the easement's clearly staked out now, and so is in the 100-foot in that area, is that apparently it looks like that at one time equipment was brought through here. It was quite a while ago, a long time ago, because it's pretty much cleared out. It just worked out that way, but where we propose the easement, there's very few trees or any growth there. It's pretty open. It's one of the most open areas of the entire area. And the other thing is, the vernal pool is right here. This area here is upland of the pool.
Right.
So there's a mound, it's pretty good protection. Then it drops back down again where the easement is.
Right.
So the pool's, well protected because of the mound that's here, the existing mound.
I think it would be better, and if, because of work responsibilities, Tuesday at 7:30, it's easy enough to get to the Winter Valley, but it might be more difficult to get up there at 8 o'clock or 8:30, especially when you're supposed to be at work. So if you could convince Judith to go on the Saturday, we could just go right over there and take a look at it.
And how would you like to get in from there?
You can go right into the 41 Pleasant Street
41
entrance.
Pleasant?
Yeah, you just pull right to the back. There's a path there, because we did some soil tests that you could get right to the easement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you prefer to do that?
What's that?
You'd rather do that on the weekend than
Yes,
with fence and 2 buses?
absolutely.
Right.
Right.
So what
Oh,
time?
for sure, because is that one way now, or is that a proposal? That was a proposal to make?
Yeah, it's.
Is it one way now?
A lot of the neighbors that we met with would like to have seen that end of Pleasant Street become a one-way.
But right now, it's two-way, is it
It's-
still?
It's one-way, but from Randolph Avenue.
Right.
Yeah, they want to actually make it one-way the other direction.
Really?
And they wanted to block it right at the end of Bent's. So Bent's would have almost its
A dead end.
Suck themselves, yeah. So a lot of the neighbors suggested that. Has been discussed at the planning board. But when the applicant's not proposing that. That's done.
What time?
Well, if we go up, 8:15 or 8 o'clock, it's not gonna, oh, I'm sorry. If we do it, we're at 8 o'clock at
Winter
Winter
Valley.
Valley.
Yep.
I don't know, 8:30? We're not gonna be long at Winter Valley.
No,
We've been there.
I agree, yeah.
Should we say 9?
No, we're not gonna be there for an hour. An hour?
I thought we were starting at 7.
No.
Now, that was on a Tuesday.
How about
Getting up at
8:30, but we'll call it, Eastern Conservation Time, so we might be 15 minutes late. All right, does that make sense?
That's fine, sure.
Okay, so we'll try to do it the 22nd. If there's a problem, would you stay in touch with Kathy
So we're
on
gonna,
that day?
we're
No,
gonna,
the 26th is a Saturday.
I'm sorry, 26th. You're correct, I'm sorry.
approximately 8:30 on the
Right.
26th and Saturday. Yeah,
Roughly means later than.
I'm an optimist. Come on.
No, that's our just standard conservation speak.
All right, that's good.
that works good.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda is request for modification, determination of applicability, 30 Curtis Road. What is that?
Unquity.
Unquity
That
House.
the overflow storage tank backflow for a couple of years ago, they got swamped out by septic coming from Blue Hills Ave.
Right.
So they're putting backflow preventers in a storage tank in. And they couldn't put it where they wanted to put it. I can't remember why. And there's a new proposed plan which shifts it still within within the parking area. It's not closer to the river, and it's not within a lawn area.
When we first issued this, when was that?
This is the river.
Yeah.
It was last July.
July of
14.
14?
Where does time go? It seems like yesterday.
I'm sorry, August 1st, 2014.
Can you vote on this?
Sure, why not?
Well, can you tell us, can you just point out where the change
So
is?
this is that's the old plan. This is the new plan. Basically, I can't remember why they can't put it in that location, but they can't put it in that location, and they've proposed to move it to this location, which is on the same path, pretty much the same path that they had before. So that was coming out of the building. They were trying to put it in a paving area that's here, and then extend the pipe out to Blue Hills Parkway. They couldn't put it there for some reason. Now they're putting it in along the similar path, but this is in that's a parking area now. So they're requesting that it's a minor modification. And I'm sorry, I can't remember why they couldn't.
Was it gravel they hit?
What?
Did they hit gravel?
That shouldn't have stopped them.
Or ground or something?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't recall.
So this letter is 8/1/14, is that right? As opposed to 8/1/15, is that right?
No, this is the April 15th. Oh, wait, determine, rather than the approved determine. Yeah, yes, exactly.
Okay. I did think I had forgotten.
Was it really 8? So that'd be August, right?
Right.
Yep.
Looks okay to me. Anybody, I mean, if it's parking area,
It is. It's within an existing paved parking area. And it's along the same line that they had before. So it's,
Any issue?
it is, yeah, it
That
doesn't
seems
seem.
fine to me.
Arthur, anything? It's still the, what is it, 18,000 gallon?
18,000 gallons.
Same size tank?
I believe, yep. I think so. It's purely a reposition due to some problem they had with the other location.
Well, they cite in the letter the subsurface explorations,
Okay.
so that ties in somewhat with Kathy's point. Maybe there's
Yeah.
clay or
ledge. or-
ledge or whatever, something that doesn't make it appropriate.
All right, so the only vote would be whether or not this is, I don't think there's anybody here. I'd ask the public for a comment, but there's nobody sitting there, so it appears that this would be a minor modification that would not require a filing of a new notice of intent. And if it's on a paved area,
Right.
it really is very minor. And the whole project is a good idea. So if there are no other questions, anybody move to
So
approve this
moved.
as a minor modification, but the plans which we've now received, we'd have to change it in the order of conditions attached to the with the new location. Motion? Second? In favor? Done. All right, thank you. That's good. And that
You
is...
can go home tonight.
Please go home tonight.
Yeah, I can go home tonight.
Any additional business?
Yes. Two. Kathy, do you have the paper that I sent to you and John about positions of vacancies?
Oh, right. That was nice.
I sent John you an email and Kathy an
Yes.
email. You got a copy of it too? Yeah.
I think I forwarded in an email to the membership.
Yeah, you did.
Just to get an idea of, because we talked earlier about the backgrounds diversification and getting it posted, we can get it into, it's on the town website, into the Local Times, and see if we can get some people with the qualifications.
Do you have it?
I don't have it with me.
I mean, it was perfect.
Yeah,
Kathy?
no, I thought it was fine too.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay with you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was basically broad ranged, and then right at the end, you said preferably we would like to have
Hydrology.
hydrology, the botany,
John,
and
okay with you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, definitely.
So can we go forward and,
I just have to check with the selectmen, with human, HR, Michael Blue, just to find out whether it's be sent to them.
yeah, because they make the
Normal
appointment.
standard, just if they want to approve the wording of it.
Great. The other I had was the matter of the property at Gulliver Creek, 5, seems to be down there all the time, what,
Hillcroft.
Hillcroft Road. And what
Mhm.
we have as the next step there, because that's really a badly eroding situation with the way the culverts
Yeah,
come
but didn't
out.
we get something today? Or recently?
I think you got my packet.
Oh, this,
with the
I
emails.
okay, I just read it to them.
But I did reach out to Kevin Hollenbeck and Robert Lowell,
DEP?
DCR. Sent them Ian's comments and Tom Palmer's, and plus the film of the water coming out of the
Right.
culverts. And I have not heard back from them, but they did speak to him, and
In looking at that, the way in which they added, once they did the construction for the drainage in the Southeast Expressway, that's cited in here, the abutments don't allow for the flow to come out and get diverted down into the
Right, they just
marsh.
go right across.
Right, and it goes cross currents. So it comes out of there, that's the largest culvert. It comes
Right.
out of there with tremendous force, it's hitting what's coming out of the culverts from Uncudy, and it's, just pushes the whole thing up against that cliff, so it's essentially a poorly designed.
It is, but it might be,
It's not that it can't be remediated.
right, I was just thinking of, is it Sandy Will that has that side of, I'm not suggesting that he donate anything to the town, but I'm sure he could point us out, because remember when the Conservation Commission approved the dock, the pier that goes out into the river for Sandy Will? I mean, he used, great big blocks of granite from the quarries. Oh, I don't know where they came from, but I should think just a big block of granite like that would be sufficient to stop the flow.
Yeah, but we talked about, I mean, theoretically, we have access to the large boulders at Gun Hill, right?
Oh, that's true, too, yeah.
So if we just Yes,
You keep saying we, but it's a DCI property.
I know, but I
So-
say we, but we need to come up with if they have we know a source of of boulders.
And they're trying to get rid of
And
them.
they're trying to get rid of them, and we know a problem that can be solved, so if we can get everyone to talk the same language, we might be able to get some of them relocated.
DCR is on the other side. This is the property that is on 5 Hillcroft.
No, 5 Hercroft abuts
Abuts,
DCI's
right.
land. So
They have
we're-
a-
DCI is on
easement.
both sides of Gulliver
They
Street.
do have a.
Both, I believe
sides.
it's both sides. Right.
Not
It's
down
not,
the-
it's not much land.
Not
but
down the middle, huh? Where it usually goes.
it's true.
So I'm just saying, if we know of a source of boulders, we know someplace we could use them, if we can get DCR to agree, then maybe we could figure out how to get them.
Midnight Express.
Yeah, Midnight Express, well, but that's a big truck, right? That's not like someone's pickup.
You gotta get your
That's
riprap wish
the
after
problem,
all,
how
aren't
do you
you?
get DCI on board?
So
So I've reached
thus
out-
far, there was no response initially?
Well, the homeowner said he's reached out to them, and I reached out on Monday and spoke with Kevin, and he said that, to send him the information from Ian Cook and from Tom Palmer. I have not heard back.
All right. And what about contacting Brian Joyce or Walter Timmelty?
I thought we should probably start with DCI, find out what their solution to
Oh,
the
I-
problem might be before.
Oh, I agree.
Oh.
I agree wholeheartedly. I just didn't know, I'm looking at this, and this says August 31st. But when did you talk to Kevin?
I talked to Kevin either, today's Tuesday, maybe last Thursday, not.
Oh,
it was
okay.
Monday,
That's
Monday.
not much time.
Okay, I forget when I talked to him.
I just didn't know if it had been a couple of weeks with no response.
No. It was
Not
just
yet.
trying to get.
All right.
It's just, I think the homeowner at 5 Hercroft
Sorry,
has
we said
reached
it.
out before and did not get any response back.
Okay. All right, well, we can await a response, and then if we have at our site walk either the 22nd or the 26th, then we can figure out what the next step is to see if we can get some response.
Okay,
It
good.
seems like a relatively easy fix, but something that should be fixed. Makes good sense.
Okay.
All right, is that good, Arthur?
That's fine, perfect.
Any other new business? Hearing none, motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor? Aye, adjourn. Thank you.